What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome into CHGO Bulls Pregame, coming to you live from our studios here in West Loop, downtown Chicago. I'm Peck, Bulls _ Peck, joined by my guys, Big Dave, Bow, BAWL Sports. The Gams are out. The wave is there. Will the Go Gottlieb, Will _ Gottlieb. The Quaff here too. Our pal and producer on the controls is Joey Spathis at Joey Spathis. Who's ready?
I'm ready.
I know you're ready.
Oh, I love this time. so much.
Goat, rocking another beautiful flannel and shoe combo. You ready?
I'm ready.
You ready?
Let's do this thing.
Joe, you ready?
I am ready.
This is how ready I am. On my way here.
You're ready enough for all of us.
On my way here, somebody hit my car.
What?
Somebody rear-ended.
No way.
Somebody rear-ended my car, right?
While you were driving it?
While I was driving it, yeah.
Oh, my God.
On my way here. And they rear-ended it. And my first thought was, shit, I hope it's all right, because I want to go fucking talk about this game. So I get out the car. It's nothing. It was no problem. It was nothing on my car. It was fine. It's a little young kid. You know, I gave him a little spanking. You know what I mean? Right then and there. Told him, watch where you going. What are you doing? He was a little young guy. Yeah, just a little bit, man. Like, he was a little young guy. You could tell he was trying to go somewhere.
Verbal abuse?
Trying to get to, a little verbal abuse. A little bit. Just a dash. Just a dash of the verbal abuse. Just on to keep his eyes on the road. Don't hit nobody else. Be careful where you're going, young man. What are you doing? He's like, I'm just trying to go to work. I'm like, yeah, me too. Like, we all trying to go to work. Pay attention to where you're going on the road, bro.
But how's your sweet ride?
Oh, it's fine.
She okay?
Oh, yeah, she's fine.
Okay.
She's fine. Bumper's fine. License plate's fine. Everything's cool. I said, yes, let me get back on the road because I couldn't wait to get here and watch this game. I am excited for postseason basketball.
So are our fellow Bulls fans in the comments. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Hit that like button if you're with us on YouTube. Shout out to Kenny B, who said, we got this 8 seed. Let's go. Maddie Legend in the comments. Crizel Salura saying, let's go Bulls. Alex, Daniel, Connor, Cassie, everybody here. Xbox King Cam, Sean Johnson. Also, shout out to Nicholas, who said, what's good, everyone? Perfect time to rock the Coors Light Air Jordans. Just got them yesterday.
Nice. Congratulations.
Enjoy those fine kicks, sir.
Congratulations, man. We want pictures. Send us photos. We want to see it, man.
Indeed. Yes, we do.
Yes, sir, man.
Marco, say, what's up, CHGO Bulls fam and fans? Let's beat the Heat and get this rematch victory from last season. See red.
Let's have some fun.
Woo! Luke in the comments saying, thoughts on Heat going zone, throwing DeMar at the mid-free line position to either take the midi or facilitate. That's where I wanted to start because you touched on that specifically in your preview column for this game tonight, Will. The zone defense that Miami goes to very frequently. You pointed out that they go to do the zone defense almost as much as anybody in the NBA. 14% of their total defensive possessions this season. And you added that, for context, the only team that used zone more than 10.1% of the time, and they did it 14%. Only 4 teams total out of the 30 in the NBA employ that defensive zone scheme more than 5% of the time. So the Heat love that, and we assume that they're going to go to that a lot tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Like, they were going to it a lot to screw, I think, with the Sixers' timing, and that's kind of the way that they like to do it. It's a curveball, right? So you're throwing off timing, you're trying to close off some of those driving lanes, and I think force Embiid into the middle of the court where he's obviously very good, but you keep him away from the basket, and I think that can be useful. So it really slowed them down, and obviously they've been successful with it at the highest level. We saw them in the finals last year. But I also wonder, like, it does kind of play into the Bulls' hands if they can just get DeMar on one of those 2 blocks.
Yeah.
Where that's his shot anyway.
Sure.
So I wonder how much they'll go to it against the Bulls. There was a game this year where they only did it for 3 possessions. There was a game where they did it for, much more than that. So we'll see. I think that's kind of the interesting piece of it is, like, when are they going to do it and for how long? And you have to be able to read those things and pick it up and understand how to beat them, in real time. And that's a tough thing to do, especially when you're just seeing them for one game as opposed to a 7-game series where you can, get more reps at it, see it over a longer period of time and start to figure out what breaks it down. So they're going to have to be creative. Both teams are, but I just wonder at the end of the day, like, in order to beat a zone, you got to get the ball into the middle of the court. You can either do that by getting the ball to the free throw line through passing and trying to get it to Vooch or DeMar at the free throw line, where the zone collapses around them and you can find shooters, or you got to drive into it and attack those gaps. And are the Bulls going to be able to do that if they aren't drawing 2 to the ball? Because that's really where the Bulls have been successful, is DeMar or Vooch drawing 2 to the ball. They spray it out, and now Coby and Ayo are attacking closeouts. That's where the Bulls have really improved this year. And if the Heat aren't putting them in situations where they get to attack closeouts, I think it'll be a lot harder for them to just shoot over the top, because we know the Bulls are not a good three-point shooting team.
They're not. 2 things here. One, I think all game long you're going to see that zone, and you're going to see a double team with DeMar DeRozan. Like, as soon as he touches the ball, before he even gets over half court, there's going to be a double team on him. So I expect to see that. 2, I think the 2 most important players in this one for the Bulls will be Ayo Dosunmu, because of what you just said, his ability to actually get to the rim and penetrate, get into the zone, because they don't really have anybody that can keep up with him. Like, they don't have a point guard at all. So that's going to be interesting to watch. And Alex Caruso, because he's been their best three-point shooter as of late. So when he collapses and that defense collapses on Ayo, the kick out is going to be for him, and he's going to get some wide open shots, man. And if he's knocking those down, it's going to bode well for the Bulls.
And not only Caruso, but Javante, who has shown again since coming back around on his 10-day, and then the Bulls signing him for the rest of the year. Occasionally, depending on the game, being able to knock down those weak side corner threes when he's open. And he's always been he's always proven that he's willing to take them. It's just whether or not he has a night where he's hitting them. And then I guess maybe if they see some minutes, Torrey and or Javon, you could throw into that category as well as weak side shooters.
Just found
if
money.
the Bulls swing the ball around against this zone defense and try to have to shoot over the top of it. Will, you also pointed out in your preview that the Bulls shot 36.5% on their three-point attempts in their 4 games in the regular season against Miami this season, averaging 39 attempts in those 4 games against Miami, which is a huge number for the Bulls.
I mean, they only take, I think, like 32 or 33 this year.
And down the stretch of the regular season, we saw some of those outputs from the Bulls that we are accustomed to where, like, they don't even break 30 three-point attempts.
And we mentioned this a couple times, but I think it's worth repeating, like, this whole thing about, like, playing with more pace, playing faster, attacking closeouts, like, that was kind of out the window in the second half of the season when Coby was not playing at his highest level, and DeMar was really, I mean, DeMar had a 35 usage rate the last couple of weeks of the season. That's on par with, like, what Luka has. So he was dominating the ball. But then against the Hawks, it was the opposite. It was obviously DeMar was getting doubled, and he had 9 assists, and he was playmaking the way that he needs to, but everything was going right for this Bulls team, not only in terms of shot making, but just in terms of getting to the spots on the floor where they wanted to go. And that's why we saw pretty much everybody on the team, with the exception of one player, shoot 50% or better from the field. So I do not think that's going to be as easy against this Miami Heat team, who's a top 5 defense. Even without Jimmy, I think they're going to make life a lot harder. And I think that's why you see the Bulls' three-point attempts go way up against a team like this, because one of the ways to beat a zone is to shoot over the top.
Correct.
And if you can do that effectively, then you're giving yourself a chance. But as we know, that's something where the Bulls are really inconsistent. And they shot, I think, like 44.5% against the Hawks, but, like, can they roll that over to shoot that well in a second straight game? That's something the Bulls have struggled with, is shooting at a high level consistently.
Yeah, and I guess offensive rebounding will absolutely become a factor then if that's the case. So it just puts more on Drummond's shoulders as well, man. So we hope his ankles are going to be okay tonight.
And that's another thing. I mean, the Heat were the 3rd best defensive rebounding team in the NBA this season. Can the Bulls still find themselves an edge by crashing the offensive glass? Because that's something that they've sort of surrendered as far as, okay, we might not be as good of a transition defense team this season because we're putting more of an emphasis on those offensive rebounds. And Drummond in particular, who, by the way, also, yes, green light tonight to play. It's those little non 3-point shooting categories where the Bulls try to get themselves an edge. Offensive rebounding is one of them. Limiting their turnovers is one of them. Will, you also pointed out that the Heat, top 5 defense this season, 8th most turnovers forced. So the Bulls, were just, like, impeccably clean protecting the ball in that first play-in game against the Hawks on Wednesday, but they were doing it playing around traffic cones. It's easy to not turn the ball over when the Hawks are literally just saying, okay, take your shots.
And that's why you mentioned, like, DeMar seeing a bunch of double teams. Like, I wonder if the Heat won't just say like, Haywood Highsmith, do your best on DeMar. Even Bam Adebayo, do your best on DeMar. Force him into tough shots and let him score as many points as you can. But take away passing lanes, take away offensive rebounding, and take away three-point shooting to where the Bulls don't have a lot of other options as far as where they can generate points. Because I think at times when things aren't going well for them, they're putting Drummond and Vooch out there together to just try to get a bunch of offensive rebounds. I think they can do that, but it's going to be a really gritty way to win this game. And they're going to have to find ways. So maybe that's what it is. But I wonder if they don't compromise their rotations, if they don't put themselves, in a vulnerable position on the backside by doubling to where they don't have to worry about that. They just try to cut off all those other passing lanes, all those other driving lanes, and just say, DeMar, beat us, but nobody else is we're not giving Coby 42 again. We're not letting Io shoot 12 of 18. We're not doing that tonight. DeMar, all you.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to watch, man, because, again, when you mention those guards, I'm immediately like, who's guarding them? Because, again, they don't have a point guard. So that's another thing I'm interested to watch Miami do. How are they going to get into their offense? Who's going to be the one setting things up for them? Obviously, Spoelstra's going to come up with something for it, obviously. But I'm just very curious to watch that. But defensively, like, I don't know who they put on Coby. I don't know who they put on Io to kind of slow them down or deter them a little bit. Jaquez and the guys you mentioned, Highsmith, that's more so I look for DeMar. No, dude, you got to stop him. So I think Coby and Io will have a chance to shine in this game and get them some opportunities one-on-one because I just don't know who they're going to put on those guys.
Yeah, it'll be super interesting. Like, there's so many different configurations that the Heat can go with. Maybe they put Highsmith on Coby, try to, stifle him with length, and put Bam on DeMar and try to do the same thing.
I think Bam will definitely see time on DeMar for sure.
But now you're sacrificing your defensive rebounding ability because Bam is away from the basket. He's guarding DeMar on the perimeter. So it's just going to be really interesting. And does Kevin Love come in and guard Vooch? Does Vooch now have opportunities? Or do you just see that zone and they're just trying to take away the gaps and make you be a jump shooting team and beat them that way? So I think that's what makes Miami so dangerous is like they just don't show you anything long enough to where you can figure it out. And in a one game single elimination situation, you're going to have to you're just going to have to shoot the ball well.
Yes,
I think
you got to get buckets. Yes.
You might not have time to think your way out of this situation.
Correct.
Let's take our quick break, shout out a couple sponsors, and then come back and dive back in. I do want to touch a bit more on, you mentioned Bam. Obviously, we know no Jimmy Butler in this game, sprained the MCL in there playing loss of the Sixers. So you have to assume that Bam is going to get a lot of touches and how the Bulls might try to go about defending that. So we'll touch on that and also get to official starting lineups on the other side of the break. Thank you for hanging out with us on YouTube. If you haven't done it yet, hit that like button. Do it for our friend Troll Joe. He needs them. He wants them. Make sure you also subscribe to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. 53, nearly 54K. Also shout out to our social team and everybody who also follows us on Instagram. Just hit 20K on Instagram today.
Shout out.
Also,
big stuff.
Big stuff. CHGO Sports Instagram story, real fun right now because it's the Friday 120 Club hanging out at Wrigley on a beautiful day.
And kicking ass. Dude, they are having a good time.
I am excited for and slightly worried for our friends Cody and Bragg, who are going to have themselves a hell of a summer.
Oh, man.
And get into so much trouble.
I refuse to show up. I want to go, but I refuse to show up until they lose. Like, I'm not going to be the one to be like, I showed up and then they lost. No.
That's how I felt about our CHGO softball team last year. Never showed up. Just let them keep that mojo rolling. You can keep your mojo rolling as someone making fun picks and putting money in your pocket with Prize Picks throughout the Fun Hoops playoffs. Prize Picks is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. It's a whole continent. They are the easiest and most exciting way to play DFS. Just you against the numbers instead of battling thousands of other players, pros, sharks, Erik Spoelstras. It's just you against the numbers. Pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 different player stat projections on the game that you are excited to watch and watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the playoff action and win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level during basketball's postseason.
Yes.
Play in. The finales tonight, East and West. Who gets the 8 seeds? The real playoffs start tomorrow. We got Nugs Lakers.
Say my word again.
Tomorrow.
No. Say how many games? Say the word they said. How many games?
Quadruple header. Quadruple header basketball. Playoff basketball. There's nothing better. Nothing better. Well, there is something better. It's making money watching a quadruple header of the playoffs.
Smart man.
I make some picks on Prize Picks.
True.
You can turn $10 into $1,000 with basketball or hockey, if that's your thing, on Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Shout out also to our CHGO Blackhawks crew who had their season finale last night.
Shout out.
Late night
Yeah.
out there in LA playing the Kings.
Yeah.
What a way to end it. Go to prizepicks.com/CHGO. Use promo code CHGO for a first-time deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/CHGO with promo code CHGO. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy with Prize Picks.
Man, Pack, what time is it?
Game time, who?
All right. You shouldn't have to worry when you're buying tickets to your next big event. Game Time is a fast and easy way to buy tickets for all your sports, music, comedy, and theater events there at Chill with Keller. Last minute deals. All in prices, views from your seat, and their best price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying those tickets. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event, and even after it starts. It is not the place. No. It is the place to find last minute seats. Find exclusive flash deals and sponsored deals on tickets for football, hockey, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and so much more. And with those own deals, you pick the section, and Game Time will do the selecting for an average savings of 18%. And with the Game Time guarantee, it means you will always get the best price. So take that guesswork out of buying those tickets, y'all, with Game Time. Go ahead and download the Game Time app, create an account. Just use the code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code CHGO, and you will get $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed, because Joey Spathis. What time is it?
Game time.
It is game time, who? Bulls starting 5. Coby. Fresh off of 42 career high.
So sexy.
Io. DeMar. Alex Caruso. Gio in the comments just asking, ACL right to lace him up tonight? Yes, he is. Going to play on that bad ankle, as he always does.
Always does.
And Vooch in the middle. There is your Bulls starting 5.
All right.
Also, I don't know about you, Will. I didn't see anything from anybody who's down there in Miami, Billy, mentioning minutes restrictions on any of these guys. Io gets a green light. Drummond gets a green light playing through their injuries on top of Caruso. None of them had minutes restrictions Wednesday. I'm guessing it's do or die. There will be no minutes restrictions tonight.
Yeah, he said no minutes restrictions last game, so I doubt there would be tonight.
Yeah.
There you go.
They're going to be playing, man.
There you go.
Out on the line.
On the line. And then for Miami,
Welcome to Miami.
It's there is no Jimmy. There is no Jimmy. We know also that they ruled Terry Rozier out again, who missed their Wednesday playing game with that neck injury of his. But Duncan Robinson, who was questionable, he's been dealing with that weird back, arthritis or whatever. He got the green light to play. Kevin Love's been playing through a bad ankle. He is active, as is Tyler Hero, who's playing through that lingering foot tendonitis. So just Butler and Rozier, and then, of course, Richardson, who's been out for a while for Miami, whose starters tonight are Tyler Hero, Caleb Martin, Jaime Jaquez, Nikola Jovic, and Bam.
Jovic, my guy. Shout out to him, man. I was big on him in the draft. I thought Jovic would be nice. I was mad when he got him. And another guy I'm starting to be a little concerned about is Jaquez, man. I really like Jaquez, man. Like, he does not play like a rookie. Like, he really doesn't have that kind of fear in him when it comes to those big game situations. You see why Jimmy Butler, kind of took him under his wing and that sort of thing. So he's going to have a bigger green light tonight than he's used to. And I'm sure Jimmy's been in his ear, letting him know, hey, bro, a lot of this is going to be on you. So my first thought is, well, man, who's going to be the one defending him? You know what I mean? Like, who's got that size enough to go up against him and defend him? I mean, we don't know DeMar is that kind of defender. Is it going to be Javante? Is it going to be Io? It's going to be interesting to watch because he definitely has a mid-range game and can get to the bucket.
Yeah, I think Jimmy even posted an Instagram story of him dapping up Jovic, and the caption is passing of the torch.
See?
So I think he'll be ready to pull the trigger. But I think
Didn't he also say on Instagram that he wants to fight Kelly Oubre?
Yeah. Jimmy's gonna Jimmy. It's just like we were kind of talking about. I think there's so many different options and machinations of the way that the Heat can match up with the Bulls, and so if something's working, I think they'll stick with it. But I think Spoelstra is obviously going to be willing to pull the trigger on getting weird at some point throughout this game. I think the Bulls have to be ready for that. So
they don't mind getting weird in Miami.
Bulls fans have been quick to remind themselves this time around, seeing is that it's a rematch of these two same teams
Yeah.
in the same fight for the 8 seed playing game a year ago, that, hey, they don't have Max Strus this time around, who killed the Bulls behind the three-point line.
31.
They do have Tyler Hero back, and he got up 14 three-point attempts in their loss to Philly. Only made 4 of them. 9 of 27 overall from the field. We were wondering on yesterday's preview episode how much more Spo is going to put the ball in Tyler Hero's hands without Jimmy Buckets and his half-court ISO, slow DeMar-esque possessions. And, there might be some of that, whether it's Hero or anybody else making the Bulls pay behind the three-point line, because the Bulls' perimeter defense has been dog shit all season. But I also think if I'm Spo, I'm trying to run as much as I can through Bam.
Sure.
I mean, they have shown all season that his dribble handoffs can be lethal if the guys he's hitting those dribble handoffs to can get a clear space and knock down their shots. And you also, as a Bulls fan, worry about how Vooch will fare in that front court matchup, and the fact that the Vooch showing on those pick and roll situations has sometimes been just a green light to the basket for competent bigs who can slip screens, and Bam is deadly in that department.
Yeah, and we've seen the way Duncan Robinson improved this year, where he's coming off those screens, he can throw that slip pass to a Bam who's now rolling to the basket playing 4-on-3. And obviously his playmaking ability is what makes him special as an offensive big. So Miami, I really think that they are going to be a different version of themselves, but still a very dangerous one. I think they're going to feel the urgency to shoot a lot more, to try to juice their offense. I feel like they're going to try to run a lot more, and that's something the Bulls can struggle to defend at times, especially if they're throwing bodies at the offensive glass. I think this matchup is going to be really difficult for the Bulls. We've seen them struggle against teams like this who shoot a lot of threes, who come off screening actions,
They don't defend it well.
who are in motion constantly. That can be a really difficult thing to keep track of, especially as an off-ball defender. Cruz is obviously playing, but is he going to be 100%? Is he going to be able to play 40 minutes the way that I think probably Billy wants him to tonight? It's just going to be an interesting matchup. But at the other side of that coin is you're putting a lot of pressure on guys like Nikola Jovic and Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero and Caleb Martin to be big-time shot makers. And can they do that in a one-game scenario? Obviously, they've had moments in the past, each of these guys, and all of them at certain points in the playoffs, but can they do this in effectively a Game 7?
Yeah, and I think actually the two bigs are going to be an issue for the Bulls. I think Kevin Love will also end up being an issue for it, because we just know Vooch and we know Drummond are not going to come out there, on those guys. And both of those guys can come outside of the lane and hit jump shots and especially hit threes. And every time Kevin Love plays the Bulls, that's what we see. They have those moments of burst with Kevin Love where he just hits 3 straight threes, grabs 5 rebounds, gets an outlet pass, quick timeout for the opposing team. We watch him do this all the time, and you see him do it against the Bulls. So I'm interested to see when, because I think he's going to swap with Bam and Kevin Love getting time at center, during certain possessions, I think they're going to mix it up that kind of way, whether it's Drummond or whether it's Vooch, just depending on what they need in that possession. So I think that's going to be a tough matchup for both of them to watch.
They're going to try to make Vooch guard as much as possible.
Yeah.
And right now, obviously with Martin, Jaquez, Jovic being kind of the floor spacers of this group, obviously they can put the ball on the deck and stuff. Vooch is going to have to – he's not going to be able to just hide on a Jovic or something like that. So he's going to have to guard Bam. He's going to have to be up in coverage. He's going to have to be containing. And can the Heat take advantage of that and try to turn the corner on him and get downhill? I think that'll be something that obviously the Heat are really trying to prioritize tonight, because if they can put pressure on Vooch and they can get downhill, I think that's where the Bulls have been struggling this year, is in rotation, helping in from as the low man, stepping over to protect the rim, and then getting back out to shooters. That's why they give up so many threes. So if you can turn the corner on Vooch, they're going to be in a good situation.
Yeah.
People in the comments wondering about the back end of Billy's rotation tonight and whether or not it'll be different than it was on Wednesday. Brandon saying Billy better play Torrey tonight. Anthony wondering, is Torrey Craig in the doghouse ever since that alley-oop? And somebody else just said, wonder if Dalen will be first off the bench for Billy tonight. What do you guys think? Do you think we see something similar from Billy as far as who comes off the bench when and how many minutes people get? The only thing I'm confident in is that Drummond and Javante will get minutes. Beyond that, I got no idea.
Yeah, I think Torrey Craig will get some time. I don't know when, but I think Torrey Craig will get some time. I think Dalen Terry will also get some time out there on the floor to play. Billy has been interesting that last play-in game, he was not the same, and I like that. You know what I mean? Like, you can't go in there doing the same thing. You just mentioned how crazy the Heat are about to get. I need Billy to get a little nuts himself, with some of these lineup changes and see how it goes. Like I said, I don't know when. I don't know who comes off first and is going to get that first opportunity. But I expect Terry, I expect Craig, and obviously I expect Drummond and Javonte to be in there, man. Now, Javon, probably not. You know what I mean? We'll see.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
Minus 11.
Yeah.
In their game on Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll
Less than
see,
2
man.
minutes.
That's going to be tough.
Yeah, man. Like, I think Billy, his whole thing with rotations is like, who does he trust?
Yeah.
And he, I think, has shown at times willingness to give guys a chance. But then if you're minus 11 in a minute 50 something, then you're probably not going to play again.
Yeah,
Dalen, I think, had some good moments.
He did.
In the last game. Maybe he has earned some trust. But I agree with you, Matt. I think Drummond and Javonte are the only givens here.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would not surprise me if the Bulls are playing a 7-man rotation tonight with their season on the line.
It's going to be interesting to
I
watch,
mean,
man.
Billy gonna Billy.
Billy gonna Billy, man.
This is when you Billy.
This is when you Billy.
Tibbs.
This is when you Spoelstra. This is when you Billy. This is that time frame, man. And also, as far as the Bulls' defense is concerned, they have to get into what they do best, and that's that death by 1,000 cuts defense with those guards. They did it against the Hawks a lot. Anytime the Hawks tried to get that ball inside of working, you saw those piranhas out there kind of biting at their ankles, getting those block shots and running. That's exactly what they're going to have to do against this Heat team.
Also saw Trae Young just throwing souvenirs to the people in the stands.
He helped as well.
That was
you know
a nice,
what I mean?
nice little bonus.
Yeah, he helped as well. So whoever is the ball handler, I need Caruso on. Whoever's bringing the ball up, Caruso needs to be on them immediately. I don't care who it is. So, yeah, they have to play to their strengths, you know what I'm saying? And don't let the Heat come down and set up and get what they want to get. Play to your strengths, man, and put your best defenders on the ball handlers. Start there, and then bite at the ankles, man. Piranhas all day.
I think Javonte is the guy who can take advantage of that the most, where, these Heat zones are so good at getting into passing lanes, rotating back out, and just like being in all the gaps at the same time. But if there's one thing Javonte does well, it's mess with that type of stuff.
Yeah.
He's sneaking around on the baseline. He's, attacking offensive glass. He can, I think, be really effective against his zone defense because he plays unpredictably.
Yeah.
And it's hard for a zone defense to get back, get out to him. He shot 37% on threes with the Bulls this season, which is the same as last year. But he shot, I think, 27 attempts in just a handful of games. So he's shooting more. He's shown a willingness to get the ball up. And I think he can be really useful. But the other thing is, like, last game, the Bulls played really an 8-man rotation with 2 minutes for Javonte, 2 minutes for Javon and, a handful of minutes for Torrey Craig, I think 7. It was basically an 8-man rotation, and that was a game in which Caruso left. So I also would not be surprised if it's just a 6-7-man rotation with maybe a few spot minutes from a Torrey Craig or from Javon Carter if they really need guard help.
Yeah. Shout out to Love Dave, who's hanging out in the comments for the first time in a while.
Man, I ain't seen you in a
The
minute.
CHGO crew was so excited about Javon Carter signing. Hope things have changed. I don't know if "so excited" is the phrase I would use to describe how I felt about Javon Carter.
He's definitely played below what we thought he would be.
It's like, okay,
There's no doubt about it.
It's one of 2 additions to this same running back crew in the offseason. It's like a kid trying to be excited about a toy. The toy might be ball in a cup, but it's a new toy. So
I think we all thought he would be better, you know what I'm saying, than what we've seen, man.
if we got the Bucks version of Javon Carter, then the excitement, however much of it there was, would have been warranted.
Yeah.
We did not get the Bucks version of Javon Carter.
And they'd be in a better position at the same time. So, just didn't work, man.
Connor, somebody was talking about how they want a Bulls Celtics rivalry reignited, assuming the Bulls could get past this Heat game tonight. And that somebody else, Carrie said, Celtics will cook us. I don't know. I'm not so sure that the Bulls advancing past the Heat tonight would reignite a Bulls Celtics rivalry of any kind.
I was actually looking at
kind of
this.
like the same way the Bears Packers has been a rivalry in recent years.
I was looking at this the other day, just because I had that same thought. The Bulls have played the Celtics a total of 23 times in the playoffs over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different series.
Celtics won them all, didn't they?
Celtics have won them all,
Yeah,
but would you like to guess the head-to-head record?
What do you mean by head-to-head record?
Like how many wins?
Number
and losses?
of wins and losses in all Bulls Celtics postseason.
Oh,
23
the Bulls
games.
have probably won 3 games in those series. Wait,
Well,
no,
they won
5.
They won 3 in
5.
2009 alone.
Yeah, 5 because I just remembered the Rondo.
Yeah,
So,
and then
5.
2 in the
5.
3 alpha season.
That's
So
it.
that's 5.
That is
5.
correct.
Wow.
It's 18-5 in favor of Boston, and they've only won games in the last 2 series that they played. In the
Yep.
first
Yeah.
3 series, they were swept.
Yeah, with the Larry Bird dynasty joints, baby. 63 by Mike.
Sam in the comments saying, if Coby White shows up like he did last game, we're going to the playoffs. Would be cool to see.
It'd be cool to see.
I think it's far less likely.
It'd be cool to see, man.
Again, I'm not trying to take anything away from Coby or any of his teammates for what they accomplished on Wednesday. They play well. This Heat defense we're about to see
They're good.
is a real NBA defense. Not just a real NBA defense, a top 5 NBA defense. The Hawks?
It's cool. Kobe's balled all
Not so
year
much.
long.
Not so much.
He's on the most improved player list, man.
It is 6:01 Central Standard Time.
That's
Tip-off
fun.
moments away. Guys, real quick before we get out of here, predictions.
Bulls.
Who's winning this game?
Bulls.
Yep, I'm going with the Bulls as well.
Bulls.
Well, we can't all pick the Bulls. And because I've doubted this team's capability and competency all season long, anytime you think the Bulls are in line for a W, they show you who they are and they show you that they're capable of losing to anybody. Why not? Bulls will choke tonight because the Bulls have proven that they're an inconsistent team. So, sure, I'll pick the Heat.
All right. Heat.
But did you bet on the Bulls?
No, I did not. No, I did not. No, I only made one. I only made one NBA bet today, and it was the Pacers to win their first round series against Milwaukee.
Okay. Joey, first bucket.
Io.
Io, first bucket.
Io first bucket. Bulls fans, we appreciate you hanging out with us for pregame. Hit that like button on the way out if you haven't done it yet. It helps us out a lot. We really appreciate it.
Woo.
Enjoy Bulls Heat wherever you are, whoever you're with.
Let's have some fun.
And we will be right back here live from our CHGO studios for CHGO Bulls postgame.
See you on the other side. Yes, sir.
Following the game. Let's see what happens. In the meantime, Will_Godley, Bow, BWL Sports, our pal producer at Joey Spathis on Bulls_Peck. We are CHGO Bulls.
Let's do it.
Throw that jump ball.